Well, g'day fishers. Welcome back to another weekly fishing report, our Christmas report. Big fella's only a few days away from coming down the chimney, and I hope he brings you plenty of fishing gear. As you can see behind me, we've got lots in stock at the moment. It's been very busy. Despite the onset of coronavirus, we've still been bloody flat out, which is unreal at the moment. So plenty of good fish around too, as I say each week, but this is a really good time of year. If you had a look at our social media, especially our Instagram page, you would have seen some really cool catches during the week. One being a yellowfin around the islands, the other one being a cobia off the beach, which is pretty cool, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So we'll move along to the bay. Plenty of big whiting in the bay at the moment. If you're keen on catching whiting, now is the time, and they're a great feed on Christmas Day if you're keen on doing that. We'll have some live worms in on Friday about lunchtime, so just enough there to go and get a quick feed on Christmas Eve for Christmas Day. And obviously we're back open Boxing Day, but plenty of good whiting around. All the beaches are loaded with whiting at the moment. The trick is fish really light, fish early, and you should score a few whiting. If you're keen on the surface lures, then get up on the back of the flats there, especially from around Bagnalls Beach up. If you're land based, you can obviously fish baggies. But I would, if you've got the boat, get up towards Tarlee, up towards Taylor's Beach, all those areas there. There's miles of flats you can fish for whiting up in that area for sure. And you will get a few flatties and brim on the surface lures. Like I said last week, the water has warmed tremendously inside the bay. So those fish that normally will eat a soft plastic or a hard body are now looking to the surface. Plenty of prawns around, especially coming off the back of the full moon. So if you're keen on doing some surface fishing before Christmas, next couple of days, definitely give that a go. Some big lizards still about. Paul from Fishport Stevens Estuary Charters, he nailed a 98 centimetre fish during the week on a 2.5 inch grub. So it just goes to show sometimes you don't need a bigger plastic. An absolute stonker. It's just been an incredible year for big flathead in Port Stephens. Good to see a lot have been released as well. So that's a good thing back into the system. Obviously they'll breed on and make bigger ones again. So still some big flatties around, which is good to see. So if you're keen on doing that, get those plastics out there. The flats will fish better now. The water's warm. So if you're keen on doing the flats fishing, like I said, all those areas will fish pretty well at the moment. Crabs, there are a few crabs around, a few muddies, a few blue swimmers. You do have to work for them a little bit, but if you're keen on getting a feed, you will do okay there. A little bit of pelagic action inside the bay. There was a couple of bonitos showed up in the bay. They weren't in huge numbers, a few salmon as well. That water's pretty warm offshore at the moment. So if you look for the birds, you will find that there's a few bonito and Taylor and the odd salmon inside the bay. If you want to have a spin, especially first light, you've got to do it first light. You'll see those fish busting up. A couple of kingies on the breakable as well, but only small ones at this stage. A few squid in Shoal Bay, so if you're keen on getting a quick feed of squid, plenty of squid in at Shoal Bay at the moment. That clearer water on the high tide is doing pretty well with the squid there. So all in all, base fishing well at the moment. We'll move on to the beaches now. Whiting galore on all the beaches at the moment, so if you're keen on doing that, Fingal's just been fishing phenomenally, especially up towards the spit. Don't cast far. We see a lot of anglers casting those big sinkers, trying to hit New Zealand. You can try and try again, but you won't hit it. But just fish really light, just think a gutter close in, and that's where your whiting is going to be. Sometimes you don't even need a 12-foot rod. Even an 8-foot rod will do the trick because you're just lobbing that little bit of worm in, catching those whiting, especially on an incoming tide. Incoming tide, I reckon, is key for whiting. That's for sure. A few brim mixed in, and obviously the data there as well. Keep you having a bit of fun with the kids. A few salmon still about there. Even though the water's warm, they hang in there. Be worth a shot having a spin for those as well. Back down towards Samurai. Samurai is fishing well. We had a customer, he sent me a couple of photos. He fished on Samurai. He caught a mulloway and also a snapper off the beach there at Samurai during the night. So you don't know what's going to turn up on the beaches. Speaking of which, if you saw our Instagram page, young Jake Hodges actually caught a 77 centimetre, say that 10 times real quick, cobia off Berube during the week. So that water is definitely warm. Cobia this time of year is a little bit early, but they do swim. Fish have fins, they do swim, so anything will turn up. So there you go, some good fish around. Berube fishing really well, plenty of whiting down there. We're off the back of the full moon, but still a really good time to go and catch a mulloway off the beach as well. A few nice brim mixed in. They came out of the Hunter River when we had that fresh earlier, about a month ago. So some beaches of fishing, fantastic. If you're into your beach fishing, get into it right now. The rocks, you can still catch bread and butter species like drama and bream and ludrick and things like that. Cemetery Point's a good place to catch ludrick, but also now is a good time to go and spin off the rocks for bonito. There's a few around Wanney Point there, and also off Barry Park at Fingal. Some nice tailor mixed in as well, and you'll get those salmon. And so that'd be worth a shot. A few kings around as well. If you want to throw some bigger stick baits, you might find a good kingy with that water pushing in there. There's certainly some around the islands out the front. Be worth a shot there. So onto the offshore scene at the moment. Again, our Instagram page, plenty of kings around, plenty of rats around, but some good ones in amongst them. Plenty of trag on the reefs as well. The big gibbers fishing well. The outer 21, and then down south, Uralla, Tank Mark fishing really well. Boulder Bay wide, especially for trag at the moment, is doing pretty good. You would have noticed that yellowfin caught off Little Island in amongst the kingies, so the water's pushed in there. It is a little bit funny at the moment. One day it's 24 degrees, one day it's 21, typical this time of year. But if we continue to get those southerlies, we'll push that warm water in. Haven't heard of any small black marlin in there yet. I think it's a little bit early. I think they're still moving down the coast, but you never know. I reckon a striped marlin, definitely off the lighthouse at Fingal there in 50 fathoms. I reckon you're bang on for a striped marlin because I've done it myself. So go and check that out if you're keen on an inshore marlin at the moment. So yeah, some really nice fish around on the offshore reefs at the moment, and you will get snapper as well. So you would have seen our reports of some nice snapper at the moment. Out on the shelf, one customer sent me a photo. Sorry, I apologise, forgot your name. He caught a black marlin on a thunderstruck during the week. It's all starting to shape up out there as we get off the back of this moon. I reckon another week. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, I reckon that's my pick. I reckon you'll catch some stripe and blacks out there and a couple of blues. So it's definitely picking up out there. There's plenty of bait. Just hope the current doesn't push too hard, but definitely worth a shot on the shelf. Anyway, Merry Christmas. That's our Christmas report. We'll do a report next week for the new year.